One of my absolute favorite things about taking the GLP-1 is the silencing of the food noise. But what happens when the mechanism that silences the food noise also dulls or silences your love for one of your favorite hobbies or your social icebreakers? More on my personal experience a little bit later. So people taking GLP-1 medications have celebrated the fact that the incessant noise in their head has been muted. Now they can experience life in much the same way that normal people do. No more fighting the nonstop cravings, whether you're full or not. No more eating breakfast and thinking about what's for lunch or what's for dinner and what's for snacks in between all of that. People have talked about how it has also stopped their compulsive shopping habits, or stopped them from smoking cigarettes, or stopped them from drinking adult beverages or even sugary drinks. So many benefits are being realized when it comes to compulsion or addiction. In fact, they are looking at ways to utilize these meds to treat alcoholism, drug addiction, compulsive gambling, and smoking. Eli Lilly plans to start a trial, I believe sometime this year, to study the effects of tirzepatide on some of these items. Novo Nordisk will also take a swing at it at some point as well. And Brigham and Women's Hospital has started recruiting for a pilot 4-week double-blind, placebo-controlled, randomized trial that they call STRING, or Study of Tirzepatide for Recovery and Alcohol Use Management. Animal experiments have shown that these meds dampen compulsive pleasure-seeking behavior and blunts appetites for addictive substances. The University of Pennsylvania tested GLP-1s in cocaine-addicted mice and found that it reduces their dopamine response and helped them regulate their addiction. The National Institutes for Health teamed up with Scripps Research Institute and found that binge-like alcohol drinking in rats was reduced with the use of semaglutide. So, lots of exciting news to come on the effects of GLP-1s on the brain's reward center. For me, though, see, I'm an introvert. I like to observe things, and I find crowds and having to constantly engage with people exhausting and draining, which is funny because I'm a leader of people, and I have to interact with people all the time. And I'm also now someone on the internet making these videos. But being a leader of people, I am often operating in an uncomfortableness all day long, oftentimes without issue. But by the time I get home, I'm drained and I just want to veg out, scroll on my phone or veg out and watch some TV, anything but engage with other people. And that's how I recharge my battery. In social settings, though, I often navigated this by drinking socially. I have all this liquor in my house because I would have a drink or two at the end of the week to unwind. But now I can count on one hand the number of drinks that I have had over the last nearly year and a half of being on a GLP-1. So cool. I can navigate that, and I was expecting it based off of experiences of others. I wasn't expecting it to the extent that it came, though. I guess on the plus side, it does stop me from drinking a whole bunch of empty calories. The one thing that surprised me the most was my lack of desire to go out and barbecue. This has been one of my favorite hobbies over the years. I have poured thousands of dollars and countless hours into it. I didn't care if it was 30 degrees outside or 115 degrees. I was firing up that smoker. I have this huge custom 1,000-pound, 120-gallon offset smoker in my backyard that ran me a pretty penny. Now it sits under the cover of a tarp, untouched. When I would fire this thing up no less than once per month, at least twice, but no less than once. I'm cooking ribs, pork butts for pulled pork, briskets, 12 to 14 hours at a time. My barbecue does not need sauce, and that's the sign of some good barbecue. Because a lot of times what we find is that people will cover their barbecue by drowning it in sauce. But real good barbecue does not need sauce. You can have sauce as a compliment. And I made my own barbecue sauce from scratch to complement my own Q. I was all in. And I have cooked on that thing probably once or twice since January of 2024. Now, I don't know if it's just that I have the lack of desire to Q, or the lack of desire is related to my reduced desire to eat what I cook. Now, with that said, I will definitely be cooking on the 4th of July because I have family coming to town and they're expecting to eat some of my barbecue. But it's not like it once was. And with Memorial Day coming up this weekend, I have no plans whatsoever to cook. I may fire up a grill and throw some steaks on, but I'm not firing up the smoker. I have no plans to do that. So that has been one of the craziest side effects on my journey and something that I was not expecting. I guess you have to take the good, the reduction of the food noise, along with the bad, the reduction of something that I really, really enjoy doing and something that I'm really, really good at. But I'm wondering if there's anyone else out there that's finding less pleasure in hobbies and other things that you once enjoyed doing outside of food intake, of course. Let me know. I'll be interested to hear.